The no bullshit approach to all financial markets, including Top Shot, Bitcoin, and the largest casino in the world, the U.S. stock market. Today on Market Mania, we get to the bag. NBA Top Shot will be talked about constantly. Synthetic blockchain stonks, there's the bleeding edge. Problems on the horizon? You know Tony, the producer, is going to be on that one. And Tesla. Tesla. Matt Glantz, he came back. He was on vacation. He was slacking. And we said it's only NFTs until he gets back. Now he's back. Matt Glantz, what is in Tesla's future?
So, I took a week off from the show. I've been trading a lot of these SPACs, these EV SPACs, and looking at Fisker, Lucid Motors, Neo, Nikola, all these other EV SPACs, and there's like 20 of them, and they're all worth billions of dollars. And I look at the technology, I look at the cars they're producing, and nothing compares to Tesla. Even the ones like Lucid, which is supposed to be luxury, that's coming out at the end of the year, or the Neo cars that are out now, nothing comes close to even what Tesla is today. So even the ones like Fisker, Lucid, that are coming out next year, those cars aren't even going to compete well with the Teslas of today. And next year, when they come out, Tesla cars will be so much better than they are now. The technology moat is like, it reminds me of sort of like Amazon, but for cars, EV batteries. It reminds me of a way where you could just say, like, they're never going to catch up to Tesla. They'll never have the capital. They'll never have the engineers, the technology to compete. And Tesla just has a moat around it that can't be beat. And once they dominate in cars and all their profit is unstoppable there, they're going to dominate in energy. They're going to dominate in batteries. They already are dominating in the data, the self-driving data. So they just have a leg up on everything. So as much as we see that Tesla stock's up so much in the last couple of years, it wouldn't surprise me if Tesla's the number one market cap stock in the country, in a couple of years, like beating out Amazon and Apple. So have you seen it, Brett? Have you seen any of the cars from Fisker, Lucid, Neo? Do you think they compare?
I that's like above my pay grade. No, I haven't paid a lot of attention to the differences between the cars. I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's the bull case. I think it's kind of a high variance situation. So I think the range of outcomes is pretty wide for Tesla, but you make compelling points. You make me want to go buy some of this stuff.
I think it's a great point. And I mean, I've long been a Tesla bull, but really the last year or two after the explosion, you've seen nuggets only of just the technology. They were saying, I remember reading 2 years ago in 19 that, well, maybe it's just the AI component that has billions and billions and billions of value just from their interpretation of real-time driving data to make that self-driving car. Maybe just that component is $10-20 billion unit that you just see lying around that you're not even thinking about. And I mean, I don't know. I kind of agree with that. It does sound like the rosiest possible scenario. I mean, Matt, there's got to be downside here. There's got to be that's the rosiest case I've ever heard, even more than Justin O when we had him on.
I mean, who's going to compete with them once they get all the solar roofs installed in their houses, where the solar roof is attached to the solar battery or the solar charger in the garage,
charging a power wall.
You could sell that your electricity to the grid. It's really an energy play more than just a car or a autonomous driving play. They're energy is the biggest sector going forward, and they're top of the field.
It sounds like we're selling stock here. It's a holistic approach to the entire energy economy. The Tesla Powerwall is something I want so badly here because we have power outages more frequently than even Florida. And it's just a big ass battery. You hang it on the wall. I heard they were recycling the old car batteries. They can become power walls. I don't know. It seems like they're going to keep finding gin. Uh-oh, Tony, the producer's here.
Time out, guys. Time out. Tesla.
You know what that means?
They got some cool stuff. They got some cool looking cars, but there's some trouble on the horizon for Tesla. So I'm not sure it is time to buy. You can give me some pushback on this, but I wanted to point your direction to the fact that every single Tesla that Edmunds tested has failed to hit its EPA range estimate. And I think that's a big problem for them because they've, as you can see in this list, it's kind of a low resolution list. I'll see if I can bring it up a little bit, but they've got a lot of competition coming in. Those are all listed there. And as you can see, their competition is hitting their stated EPA range estimates. And when you go down to Tesla, I mean, the 28 Model 3 is almost 18% below what it claimed it could hit. And to see these, I live in a cold climate. I wonder how much worse it would get in cold climates, you know. And the other problem that Tesla has coming up is they're suspending production at some of their plants. This may have to do with the semiconductor issue that everybody's experiencing right now, the shortages in semiconductors. It could be quality control issues. There's stories of bumpers falling off Teslas, you know, seat belts breaking. There's a lot of problems that I still don't think they've worked out. So what do you think of that, Matt? Are these problems going to affect Tesla's price?
So first of all, everyone's having a chip shortage. So them versus the competition, they closed their plant for a week to upgrade stuff using, you know, because there was a chip shortage that happened. But that's worldwide, so that's not just affecting them. So we don't have to really discount them for that versus the competition. But what you say about the EPA, the miles driven versus the charge, that's facts. I have two Teslas. I've had two Teslas. On my second one right now, and both cars, you know, what when you fully charge it, it says 305 miles on it, but really I only get like 240. So that's true, but I don't think that's a problem because I'm assuming these other companies that are coming out with cars are also doing the math the same way. And even with the 240 I get, no other manufacturer is competing with Tesla with the technology and the battery life. It's like not close. So, and all these companies that are coming out with cars in the next 2 to 5 years, their specs are probably going to match what Tesla's doing now. So think about how far ahead of the game Tesla will be when those cars come out. It's just not close. So I just don't see these things as problems for Tesla. I see them as problems for the competitors.
I'm going to buy some Tesla right now, honestly. Like, I'm just going to buy a little Tesla. I don't know. Seems like something that you should have in the bag. Problems.
Well, you know where you can buy it, Mike, is right here on Mirror.
This is crazy, right? I mean, this is batshit. A big shout to Cunty Cakes. JMO came in and we just found it from his feed there. And this is cool as fuck here. So synthetic stocks on the blockchain. Brett, did you actually take a look at under the hood here and how this works?
No, I haven't. I did. I know synthetics. I know Mirror. Yeah.
I took 5 minutes. I took 5 full minutes. You buy some M Tesla and some they just, synthetics on the blockchain. They have an oracle that just spits out the price of a stock, and it looks like only the hot stocks have been tokenized here. It doesn't look like this is like the FTX product where they actually are tokenizing some sort of a share and then they're trading it. That doesn't look like it. And I actually don't even know if that's how FTX works either. But this looks like you just mint an asset and you get an oracle to keep shooting you the price of like Apple or Tesla or GameStop or whatever the hell. And then there's just it looks like a Uniswap-like interface, so you can just ape in and ape out. It looks like it also happens on the Terra network. Not familiar with that either. But cool ass shit being able to just get that exposure, just blockchain style. I assume the SEC will be far up their ass within by the end of the day because they're assholes.
FTX somehow has synthetic stocks, so I don't know what the legal situation is there. I personally would be wary. I guess if you're not a U.S. company, it's a little different, and you prevent Americans from trading these. I think it's probably okay to some extent.
Everything's so cucked. It's also cucked. It's just like, but yeah, that always does scare me too. Just even growing up in the U.S., I'm just terrified. And what will the regulators do? They're super powerful. But that looks super cool though, just from like a technology standpoint. I mean, imagine being able to just fire digital assets at share prices, and
it looks like the creation. It looks like the creation is similar to DAI, where you create DAI by putting up 150% collateral. So MakerDAO, by the way, was way ahead of the curve on the whole DeFi trend. They were one of the first Ethereum projects, and they're still crushing it.
Yeah, very interesting product. It looks like you can add liquidity pairs just like Uniswap, and just add Amazon and Terra liquidity pair. It appears, and then you get some fees when people start aping in and aping out.
This might be good for institutional players, but I don't think this is going to work for retail because I was a market maker for many years on the options floor. I trade derivatives for 25 years, 30 years now. And JMO was trying to explain it to me today, and some of the stuff I never heard of, and I couldn't understand it. So, I mean, without taking a really long, deep dive, I wouldn't even understand how to use this site or what the purpose is for. So I just don't see the retail. There's no way the retail is getting in if I'm not understanding it. So,
I mean, there's a whole new world out there, Glance, where just like these crypto kids that have printed huge that are aping into Uniswap liquidity pairs, and they're scooping just yield all over the place for all sorts of different products. This is their shit. This is their stuff. And there's it's Goldman Sachs is like really like Pepe Trader 420, and he's like 17, and he's got 50 million under management.
Yeah, like I said, it might be good for institutional players. It might. So,
well, right now, retail is basically barred from Ethereum now. Anyway, as Tony's brought up, there's XDAI, there's a fair amount of Matic. There's like these other options, layer 2 solutions for scaling, but they're not really working fully yet. And so retail's priced out. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they were like, there's certain times where if you have like a $5 million stack on ETH, you have to question, is it worth the fees to get into this one protocol? And that's with $5 million. So right now it is a whale's playground pretty much only due to the fees. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening on Ethereum, right? We all hope at least some of this can make it to the mainstream with low fees, but the jury is still out on that. Supposedly this summer it's going to change. Personally, I've heard that before. I'm gonna believe it when I see it mode.
And specifically with Mirror.finance, it looked like they were moving some of it to a different chain. I didn't know if Luna was a network to that TerraSwap. I didn't exactly know what that was. It seems like it was not Ethereum, and obviously everybody's scurrying away from the fees. We are going to talk a little bit about crypto, Matt Lance. I know you're fired up. Bitcoin took a ride down to 58K, down to 44,000, back to 47 now. But everyone in the crypto space seems to be on NBA Top Shot. Brett Ritchie, no exception. I know you have your eye on this. What has happened recently in the Top Shot marketplace?
I would ignore the today's volume because that starts like midnight London time or something. But you can see in this chart, there's that massive spike in volume when NBA Top Shot was getting all this interest. It's tapered off quite a bit since then. Still doing like very solid volume, over 10 million a day for a new marketplace is really good. But there's some maintenance issues where they couldn't keep the site up for a long time, and also people moved on to other things or like in wait and see mode. So one of the things I wanted to talk about on NBA Top Shot, which is pretty cool, is they have these challenges that they're consistently rolling out, and they add this other dynamic. So this challenge here is about to end, this Cool Cats 2 challenge, and you essentially need to collect all 10 of these players, and then you mint a new Anthony Davis moment, which is only accessible this way. And then once you create them, people can sell them in the marketplace. But there's 5 Cool Cats, which are coming out in new packs, and then 5 random people that are already available in the marketplace. So there's an interesting dynamic where you can try and predict who the next of these 5 commons are going to be for the next challenge. If you get it right, you're going to get like a 5x. And if you get it wrong, you're probably going to get chopped in half. So it adds this interesting dynamic. I've personally been loading up on a few players that I think have a better than average chance to be in the next challenge, and the ROI is there, even though it's a risky bet. So, I don't know. It's the gamified trading aspect. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of things you can do.
So, Brett, that sounds fun. But let me tell you my experience on NBA Top Shots. So, I got in last week after we had a couple guys on the show that were making it seem very interesting. I got on the site. Well, the first time I tried to do it, they said they weren't accepting signups. So a couple days later, they finally were. You let me know, and I signed up. I put $500 in through Dapper. It's not. I was surprised. First of all, I was surprised it wasn't Bitcoin or ETH. It was dollars. I just did it with my credit card. I put in 500. They charged me like $24 fee, which is whatever. I mean, it's just standard for these days for things. and I put the 500 in, and then I tried to buy packs, and all the packs were sold out, so I couldn't buy any packs. So I talked to Brett, and Brett told me, he's like, well, mate, just get in the marketplace, just buy something, have some fun. So I paid $92 for Ben Simmons, I guess common card. It's now offered at 73, so I'm down $18. Whatever. I'm just interested in what's going on. I'm still trying to buy packs. It's a week later. I'm not able to buy any packs. I'm not even able to put an order in to buy packs. And all I want to do is buy packs. So it's kind of lost its luster for me already, because there's nothing for me to do on that site.
Yeah, there's the packs is a weird issue, right? Because it's hard to get them. They need to preserve the scarcity of the supply, right? They don't want to just flood the market with packs, because that's going to hurt the marketplace. That's going to hurt the early adopters. And so they're trying to find the right balance. They do have a new set coming out, which has a much higher, count of the total moments, or the mint count per moment, which should increase supply without damaging the earlier stuff too much. But yeah, I think it's a fine line, right, between how do you support the marketplace and how do you support people that want packs.
This is probably the most exciting company to work for. If you worked for Dapper Labs right now, or if you were involved, especially the principals there, like, it's just build. Like, everything is just, you got way more capacity. You have way more interest than you really even modeled for. So they're doing these huge 200,000 humans in line for a pack of digital basketball cards. They didn't think about it. They keep doing like scaling little tests, and they obviously need to get it so that, like Brett said, something like where they just can ape into just like 50,000, moment units, 25,000, whatever, to satisfy these people. Sell some cheap cards, get some basketball, gifts in some kids' hands like it's supposed to be. I'll bet you they're there in a month or two, Matt. I'll bet you the site looks far better soon. There's real.
Honestly, to me, the marketplace, when the marketplace is rocking, like, I don't care at all about packs. It's the liquidity that has been there, at least at times, is pretty astonishing. And so I think that I wouldn't count the marketplace short. I think that's actually the real genius here. It's not the NFT, it's not the digital asset, which is cool in its own right, but it's really about this marketplace that enables this gamified trading on top of these assets. That's the real winner, in my opinion, here.
Cool. Let's bring in Tony for the mailbag.
Yep, get to the bag here on Market Mania. Tony, what you got for us?
What's up? Okay, we have a question from Connor Fitzsimmons from Micon. Thoughts on Sol? SOL.
I am super bullish. I got some in the bag, and Solana looks to be like ETH, looks to be like a slightly better ETH. It's SBF, backed blockchain. I did play with the Serum DEX on top of Sol the other day just to see how it worked and how it happened. And obviously it's super early there, but it works. You can buy and sell asset pairs, and everything's going cross chain, and SBF has massive influence. So I mean, market cap wise, 4 Bs, they got ETH valued at 160 Bs. So the ceiling is high.
What's the use case here for it? What is it trying to solve?
Ethereum's at the high of the day right now. Bitcoin's falling. ETH is at the high of the day. Bitcoin's falling. Is that because Sol is mining Bitcoin? I mean, mining Ethereum?
Nope, not at all. It is simply just a different blockchain. There's the Ethereum blockchain. There's the Solana blockchain. And they're essentially trying to make a blockchain that doesn't have the fee ridiculousness that ETH does. That's what a lot of these other chains are going after. Tron really went after it first. And this is Sam Bankman-Fried's attempt at a blockchain like ETH that can hold digital assets, so you can mint easily digital assets and then trade them for low fees and do the DeFi shit and do liquidity providing and not have to pay $260 for an Ethereum transaction.
Yeah, that's fair, but it's also everybody is fast when no one's using it, right? And people are using Solana, but there are trade-offs between speed and security. And Ethereum has really optimized for the security and true decentralization. In my opinion, a lot of these faster chains are much more centralized than Ethereum. I don't think users really care. I don't particularly mind it, but it's not like, oh, it's everything good about Ethereum and it's faster and cheaper. There's trade-offs to be made. So, and Ethereum is very battle tested at market caps north of 100 billion. So a lot of these haven't been past 10 billion. So maybe they are vulnerable and people haven't found it worth their time to attack them yet.
if you are looking for your next crypto unicorn that'll pass 10 billion, I would say Solana would be my pick. Just to I don't know. It just seems like also like the token projects. Like, I mean, look at Top Shot. They had to build their own blockchain. They could not handle what happened to them on CryptoKitties. They would not let that happen with the NBA backed Top Shot. They needed cheap fees so they could charge 5%.
Next question. Chris Hartman is asking Matt about your thoughts on NVIDIA.
Quaternion.
Really? I'm sure that's for Matt.
Yep.
Yeah. NVIDIA's crushing. I mean, they destroyed earnings. The stock right before earnings, the stock was like 580. They destroyed earnings. Stock went up. But the day after earnings, market went down a lot last week. So the stock's been weak with the market. But I actually think NVIDIA's been weaker than the other tech stocks since earnings were announced. But they're crushing in all areas. I think it's one of those plays where it's not going to trade so much like a tech stock. It's not like have a huge volatility. Very low vol stock, very steady, long-term winner. It's kind of one of the stocks where if the market goes down, you'd rather be in NVIDIA than Tesla or Amazon or any of these other tech stocks.
Eating everything. GPUs going in everywhere. AI play too in there. You got everything.
Isn't it? Most of the chip games a big duopoly between NVIDIA and AMD anyway. And NVIDIA's certainly the bigger company. They're crushing. So like I have no fear owning this stock as well. While like I love Tesla long term, and we talked about that already. There is some fear that Tesla could go from 700 to 500, no problem. But I don't see that ever happening with NVIDIA. They're just doing too well in the marketplace.
Gaming play.
I got a question.
You got everything in there. Shout to Quaternion too.
Yeah, Quaternion. So my question then, Matt, is would you say this stock is almost overvalued just because it's so good that people are paying that premium for the safety, for how diverse their sort of line of business is? They're not really vulnerable to just one sector, to one sort of event. It's really resilient. So people are just willing to pay 20% extra for that kind of safety and diversification.
So everyone asks those questions all the time in the marketplace. You see it on CNBC all the time about overvalued, undervalued. I don't look at stocks as like how they're valued because that's not how stocks trade anymore. Like stocks trade based on stories. The valuation to a point doesn't matter that much. It matters a lot long term, but it doesn't matter much short term. So it's just stories. So like I'm just trying to think of something that would impact the price of NVIDIA negatively over the next few weeks or months, and I just don't see it. Whereas even as much as I love Tesla, a lot of bad things could happen to the stock price in the next couple months. And who's gonna judge the valuation of NVIDIA versus Tesla? I mean, they're just different.
I think that will bring it to an end. Go ahead and close your sack up, Tony, because it's time for safety glasses to be affixed and do your own research. This is not investment advice. This is the Market Mania pick of the day. We don't give you investment advice, but we do give you a pick of the day. Glance, what's yours?
Tesla. We talked a lot about it today. I like this one a lot. I think it's $6.99 right now. So let's buy it at $6.99 and hope we're going to see 800 soon enough.
Just clicked in an order myself live on the air. Got to love the action. Brett Ritchie, your pick of the day.
I'm going with NIO, the Chinese Tesla. If you can't afford the regular Tesla, get the Chinese knockoff. Matt's got his own fund. I'm just like the regular Robinhood guy. And so I think maybe if Tesla pumps, this thing may follow in its footsteps. So I'm rolling with NIO.
Some unit cost bias similar to the XRP army. You may need to join them next. $70 billion market cap for that Chinese car maker. You got to wonder. But I hated it. I've been hating on it all the way up since $4 or $5, $6. So what do I know? I'm going to go with something out of left field here. We're going to go with Counterparty as the pick of the day. Everyone's forgotten about it. I think it's going to make a comeback. $2.70. You heard it here first on Market Mania on March 2nd, 2021 is the wrap for this show of the day. That's going to do it today, ladies and gentlemen. We do thank you for listening. We're going to end with an old ditty from some of the modern day poets of our time. Today we will go with Seaside and Jazzy Faye's little-known banger from many years ago, MySpace Freak. And it went a little something like this. Shawty be up on it like every day of the week. MySpace.com, the reason she can't sleep. Heard a lot about it, so you know I had to see. Then I find out Bobby Brown and Whitney Daughter was a freak. R.I.P. Seaside Jazzy Faye, yep, that is an old one. We will see you tomorrow, if there is a tomorrow. But for now, it's lights out.
I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have. I never sleep. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. Time to right the wrong. So your hands in the air if you like the song. If you're going over there, take it twice as long. Last time ain't talking about Tylenol. Oh, I bet you'd like to know. You can come around the way if you're trying to go. If you want to switch lanes for a pot of gold or a domino, out of control. The usual. Get mad cause I'm looking at your girl. Switch it up. I do it so much louder than everything you've heard. Everybody heard, got the word that the world wasn't turning. Act like you're in a jury. However, turn it where I would turn it. Can't lie like it's to be burning. Don't act like you're in a daze. I imagine should've looked the other way. Couldn't clear space on my mind. Was afraid of the time. Strobe light like in the moonlight. I'm in the mood right now. How about tonight? My interview's tight now.